Alright guys, Tush coming back at you. It's Wednesday, March the 8th, and just coming up to 10 to 8 in the evening. And we're back on this rear panel. There is the results of the rust removal treatment, or the rust converter treatment on this panel. Haven't sanded it back off yet, but you can see it's basically turned the areas black where it had some rust and rust pitting, so we're happy with that. So this is where the first panel is going to be welded in, so I basically need to cut around that section to remove the old metal, and then we're going to continue on repairing the bottom part of this with this other panel that I have here. So the first object is to cut this out of the existing panel, and we're going to mark that out with a Sharpie and go ahead and cut it out. Alright, no going back now. So there's the first cut out of the floor over there sitting underneath my jigsaw. So that baby will fit just right in there, something like that. And we'll clean up the surrounding areas and we will tack that in, and then we will move on to this bottom piece. That's the plan. Alright guys, quick update for you. Just after 10 p.m. and we've got that first panel pretty much welded in. There's a few little areas that I need to go back and look at just down here at the corner. Although this is going to be trimmed off here like it was on the other side, so this won't be welded all the way to the end anyway. I also have stopped welding here because this is going to be cut off for scrap, and the other piece of metal welded in there as well. So anyway, I think it looks pretty good so far. I'm happy with it. So we'll, of course, the compressor always kicks on. Anyway, we'll get to grinding that tomorrow, and we'll put that other patch in. Talk to you tomorrow night. Hey, good morning, guys. Friday, March 17th, just coming up to 10:40 in the morning, and happy to be back out in the garage. It's been a little while. Unfortunately, real work gets in the way sometimes, so wasn't able to be out here at all last weekend and during the week, so we're going to try to make up for it today and over this weekend. I'm not feeling 100%. Unfortunately, I picked up a bit of a cold at the beginning of this week, and it's sort of dragging on, but that's not going to prevent us from being out in the garage for at least a little bit. So anyway, we're back on this trunk floor repair section again, and that's where I left off the last video, so we're going to pick it up. And we're going to start trying to fit in this other patch piece. We're going to remove this section down here and repair it with this section here. And then we got a whole bunch of grinding to do, make it look a little bit better. We're probably going to also try to get this panel sandblasted at some point. So anyway, first thing for us to do is to clean up the patch panel, get it fitted and welded in, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, we'll come back. Alright guys, quick update for you. We've got that panel all welded up, and we've started to sandblast it, as you can see. And it looks pretty good. There's a bit of a hole here that I need to repair. There was actually a bolt in there with a nut on the back of it, so we've got to repair that. And there's a couple of pop rivet holes in here as well. So we'll attempt to weld those up at some point, but just to give you a quick look at that. It seems to be cleaning up okay. So there you go. I just wanted to give you, like I said, a quick look at that before we continue on sandblasting. It's going to be a long process. It takes a while to do this, so it'll probably be another couple hours before I get this whole panel done, and then we'll move on to something else. Alright guys, that's it for now. Alright guys, just came out to shut the lights off in the garage, and really didn't get much more done on this panel, so maybe we'll finish it off tomorrow. I did do a little thinking over the last week or so, and being it's March the 17th, we're getting quickly into April, and the driving season here is probably going to be not much further away, hopefully. If the weather turns a little warmer than it has been over the last few weeks, we'll start looking forward to getting the cars out of storage. So I think what's going to happen with this car is I'm going to put this project on hold for at least a few weeks anyway, maybe a few months. We'll see how it goes, but I think what's going to happen with this vehicle is it's going to go back outside at its storage space beside the house, all covered up and bundled up nicely, while it waits for me to get back to it. So I did go in the house and started thinking about what I need to do on a couple of the other cars that I have that I'm going to get out first from storage, and that would be the TR6, the 73 TR6, and then followed by the 60 TR3A. So I thought I started thinking about projects that I wanted to do on the TR6 this spring. And a lot of these have been waiting for some time because this 60 TR3A was taking most of my attention last year. So this TR6 was getting a little bit neglected over the last few years during the restoration of the 60 TR3A. So it's about time I spent some time and love on my TR6. So I've got a list here of things that I want to do in the spring, and you can see that I want to remove the exhaust, and the reason I want to move the exhaust is sort of twofold. I actually want to drop the differential out and fix the leaking axle seals, and it's easier to get the diff out, or it's almost impossible to get the diff out with the exhaust installed. I also want to repaint the exhaust manifold, so that will also entail me sort of removing the exhaust, or technically I don't need to remove the exhaust entirely. I could just unbolt it from the flange at the bottom of the exhaust manifold, but since I have to remove the exhaust to get the differential out, I figured it'd be a good time to repaint the exhaust manifold. So that's number 2 on the list. Sliding axles need to be greased. I finished the restoration on that TR6 about 9 years ago, and I've yet to go back in and grease the sliding axles. They don't put a lot of miles on it, but it's definitely time that they were done. I was going to do it last spring, and then you may recall I ran into that issue with my J-type overdrive. Couldn't get the filter plug back in, so that basically preempted me from getting the sliding axles greased, because I didn't really want to touch the car anymore. It was like I was cursed last spring. So those will have to be done this year. While I have the sliding axles out, I'm going to grease the U-joints back there. I have new HD lever shocks to install. They have a upgraded valve system in the HD lever shocks, so I've got those coming from Worldwide Auto. I have new drilled and slotted rotors to install for the front brakes. The rotors that are on it have been sort of given a little bit of a chirp over the last couple of years, so I think I've got a bit of a run out issue on the old rotors, and they're hitting the pads and making this little chirping sound, so we're going to swap those out for some new drilled and slotted rotors. I want to do a little bit of engine bay detailing and some painting. Some of the paint is worn off in areas on the car, just on some of the radiator cross tube, radiator supports, that kind of thing. I just want to do a little bit of painting in there. So we're going to do that while we have the, again, we're going to, like I said, mention I'm going to take that exhaust manifold off. So we're going to do a few other things. I also want to put a new TR6 enamel badge on the front of the car. Since the enameling has fallen off the current badge I have in the car, well, getting to the enamel badge means that I have to take the radiator, the shroud out. So that's going to entail me doing a little bit of work to get that out. So also want to check all the fluids. It's my normal spring routine. I got to do all the fluid checks and changes. And then number 11 on the list is door seals. I have an inner and outer door seal that I've sort of neglected putting on the car for the last couple of years, because it is the worst project I can imagine on a TR6. So I've neglected putting those on because it's just one of those jobs I just don't want to do, but it's about time that I do it. But you'll see why it's such a pain in the butt when I get around to actually installing the seals. So those are the TR6 spring projects. On the 63A projects, I've got bonnet painting. I wasn't happy with the paint on the bonnet. It's actually lifting in one corner, or actually lifting where I put the mounts in for the hood pins. So I've got a problem with that paint peeling there, so we're going to fix that. I never did put the spare tire straps that hold the spare tire and tools in the boot, so we're going to do that. And I need to touch up the spare tire cover paint. Excuse me. So those are the projects for the spring for those two cars. We'll be back in a minute. So as you can imagine, the projects on the TR6 alone will probably take some time to do, and I want to make sure that I get those done before the driving season reaches or gets into full swing. So I think that means that we're going to try to get the TR6 home within the next couple weeks. It will depend on the weather, and we'll look for a warm and dry weekend day to get that car home. But in the meantime, I think what we'll do, as I said, we'll concentrate on getting this TR3 back into a position where I can get it outside and under cover. I want to do that so I can basically get the garage cleaned up and organized to bring the TR6 home. So that means, you know, relocating panels or putting some panels back on cars, and you know, basically cleaning out this entire garage. It is full of blasting media, as you can imagine, so it needs a good sweeping, cleaning, and leaf blowing out before I do anything as far as bringing other vehicles in here. So it's going to take me a little while to get this garage back into a condition where I can get the TR6 in here and be comfortable about it. So I think we're going to concentrate on getting the garage organized and getting this car situated back outside over the next couple weeks before we bring the TR6 home. So that's what the plan is for the Taj Mahal for the next few weeks. So you probably see very few videos. Doesn't mean that I'm not working, it just won't be videos that will be very exciting. So I guess we'll leave it there for now, guys, and like I said, we'll be back. I'm not sure when, maybe in a few weeks, so we'll have something to show you. Alright guys, that's it for now. Talk to you later.